Just Yehuda, Tafshin Pei. I'm going to talk about the Maase of Yehuda. Not exactly, but just the beginning. It's so long, this Maase. Nothing very clear. Let's go into Psukim without any more waiting. We will be able to only do the first pasuk here. Anyway, so the pasuk says, the beginning, very interestingly, in the middle of the parsha of Yosef being taken down to Mitzrayim, the Torah puts in the story of Yehuda and Samar. Couldn't you wait for ending the story of Yosef? We all hanging out there, and Yosef is by the Ishmaelim, and then Potiphar will buy him afterward. The Yosef who rode Mitzrayim, then he's gonna arrive to Mitzrayim. So why right there you decided to tell us the story of Yehuda and Samar? What's so special at that moment? So let's go into the pasuk. Pasuk is saying, Vayhi, so something bad's going to happen. Ba'es hahi, at that time. Which time? Was it concurrent? Are you telling me now that Yosef is going down, so Yehuda is also going down? Is it a parallel you're trying to show? Because I don't understand this Ba'es hahi means what is it pointing to? There's nothing. Prior to this is only Yosef being bullied by these Arabs and taken down to Mitzrayim. Vayered Yehuda. Yehuda went down. We use the same lashon. Yosef hurad vayered Yehuda. Me'eis echav. Rashi explains that when they saw the anguish and the pain of their father, they came to Yehuda and they said, you know what? You're not anymore a king over us. It's your fault. Because when we wanted to kill him, you told us, don't kill him, sell him to the Ishmaelim. We listened. You should have told us to return it to our father. We would have listened to you. You know what? This is the biggest sarcasm. The brothers, they wanted to kill Yosef. Probably was not so easy for Yehuda to convince them not to kill him. And at the end of the day, they agreed and they come and blame him. So I can understand the language of the pasuk explaining it like this because it's adding two words, me'eis echav, from the brothers. Like where you besides the Beis Midrash, where Yehuda was, or was he king on Eretz Canaan? No, on the brothers. But what I don't explain here with the touch of Rashi is vayered. It's a direct form. It's a direct tense. It's like he decided to go down. Because if it was the brothers, he should have said, Vehoridu, like Yosef hurad, he didn't go on his own will. So he was forced to go down. Hurad. So he said, Ve'echav horidu Yehuda, something to show that was against his will. Because it starts with Vayered. Before Echav, it seems to be that it's Yehuda willingly stepped down. So I don't understand what it says here in this. According to Rashi, I can understand what he said, that the brothers also wanted to take him down because it's added miyasechav, but this doesn't fit the words Vayered, which shows that it was done willingly and not unwillingly, as Rashi explains. Then we have here Vayet ad ish adulami. Wow. If anyone has an explanation for this, please take the share over. Vayet, when we're gonna see later with the Samar here, it says Vayet eleha, towards her. Vayet, it's to bend over. When you're on the road, you're walking straight, right? But you're going a little bit sideways, it's Vayet. If Yehuda left his brothers, the word Vayet does not apply. It's not just siding a little bit. It's going somewhere else, totally. It's Vayelech. He left his brothers, he went somewhere. Ad, no. Vayet never go with ad, until. He goes with towards. Ish adulami. A person from Adulam. I'll explain what Adulam is. It's a city which gonna exist only after the son of Shlomo HaMelech will build it. All right, so what is it doing here in the Torah? Adulami, I have no clue. Ushmoi Chira, and his name was Chira. There's two ways to write names in the Torah. It says Ushmoi Mordechai, first the word name and then its name. That's a siman. The Midrash says Tzadikim Shmon Koidmin Lohen. The Tzadikim, their names precedes them. So it means you have the word name, then their name. But Reshaim, it's a siman in the Torah, it's the opposite. So apparently he went and he found, because Ish, who's called Ish? The Ish Moshe. Ish, why do we, it's so important, this term, Ish in the Torah, because Ish is Aleph for Adnus, Yud for Yud Kevav, okay? And the Shin for Shakai. Here you have your Ish. It's someone that has accomplished a complete yichud. I mean, with his action, is accomplishing complete yichud between Tiferes Yesod and the Malchus. The whole half line down there. I don't want to waste time to show you this, but so Tiferes here in the center, Yesod Malchus. This is Kucha Berichu with in complete form, not only the Yesod and the Malchus, which is only the lower zivug. Tiferes with the Malchus is a higher zivug. The complete zivug is Tiferes Yesod Malchus in our world, which is comprehended by those 7 midas only. But Rachel Imenu is Malchus and Keser. That said, let's go back. I don't know. I mean, do you think it was so populated, the world then, that we heard about it? It's such a tzaddik. We don't know about him, anything. We're not going to say much about him. But Yehuda found him. And he's not alone. Vayasham Yehuda. Yehuda saw there. So Vayasham, I'm going to come back on it. Bas Ish Kenani, the daughter of a person, Kenani. There's a big machlokes here in the Pirushim. Is Kenani means literally. So how can Yehuda marry a Kenanis? Yehuda was married, you know, all the Shvatim were born with their twin girl, and they married their twin. So what is he doing here, going to marry a Kenanis? And how can he say the word Ish? It's like you say, Chaz v'sham, the Satan is a tzaddik. Haken Kanani, which is a klipa, arur kenan, the arur, the curse. You say the word ish, which means ad. But again, you see the siman, ushmoi shua. The name is before his name. Means Shua was a tzaddik. Interestingly, I don't know, because Shua is the same letters as Esav, inverted though. Shua, a sub. If you put the ayin before the shin, then you have Esav. I'm not going to get there, but it's just for you to know. Vayikachea means Lashon Kicha, Lashon Kiddushin. How can you marry a Shikta? Kiddushin are not teifes. They don't apply. It doesn't work. How is it possible? Vayasham Yehuda said, I'm coming back on Vayasham, is the pasuk with all these signs that I mentioned, but maybe the pasuk is saying that Yehuda went down from his madrega and now he went after his eyes. Is it possible? Is it possible that Melech Yisrael, from whom the Mashiach is going to come, let himself, being so weak and going after a Canaanist? Though, why do I say, is it possible? Why do I talk in a language like this? It's because we see that Yaakov, in Pashas Vayechi, the biggest bracha that he's going to give is Yehuda. But if Yehuda did that, why is he so important to your eyes, Yaakov? The Beis HaMikdash, Ki chilel Yehuda kodesh Hashem, Bagda Yehuda, the Yehuda rebelled. When Yidden are going with shiktzes, is a rebellion to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's desecrating what's so holy and loved by Hashem. And not only this, if Hashem, this year I'll talk about the brachas of Yosef and Yehuda, which are out of this world, you will see the shemis that we learn from the Rashi Tevis of the psukim of Yehuda, what comes out. He got a tremendous bracha. But he's getting married with a shiktzah, a knanis. Yehuda is the father of Malchus Beis David. He's the father of the Mashiach. In other words, the first son he's going to have will have the sparkle of Mashiach. He got a Rasha. He got heir, which the Zohar says, invert the letter, he's Ra. What the Yaakov says about him. But he holds a huge importance to us. Because now, Yehuda going with that woman, I'm not going to talk, I'm just going to close the subject right now. I'm not going to speak again about this. It's not of today's share. We're going to go back on topic. But just for us to understand the grandeur of this story, what's going on here is we have the Mashiach in jeopardy. Heir, Hashem will kill him. The Nitzois of the Mashiach is no longer in this world, is in air. So the whole thing has to play in the background in order to bring back the Nitzois of the Mashiach in this world. Otherwise, Am Yisrael, Chaz v'Shalom, will never have a Geula. Let's go back to first understand this Vayered Yehuda and the Me'es Echav, which is going to be the most part of the share, because here lie so many soidas that going to influence the Geula at the end of times. Not the one of Mitzrayim, but actually all from the four from the four galuyas, but especially in end of time. The Zohar Kodesh here points out that when Yehuda was born, right after Yehuda, it says, Leah vata'amid miledes. She stopped giving birth. She couldn't get pregnant anymore. Explain the Zohar the reason, because Yehuda was so important. First, you had Reuven in Chesed. Second, you had Shimon in Gvura. Then you had Levi as a Tiferes, Adam. And then you had Yehuda as who? Who we missing? The Nesher. No, sorry, it was the Aryeh. Yehuda was in the Malchus, yes. So no, he was in the Ma'araf, correct. The four legs of the Merkava. Says the Zohar Kodesh, those first sons of Yaakov were the first, were the four legs of the Merkava. And therefore, once it was completed, and when it was completed, there was no more reason to build the chariot of the Malchus. Therefore, it stopped. So now correlates the Zohar Kodesh. What does he say here? So now you see where Yehuda was. Yehuda was the fourth leg of the Merkava. And now if the pasuk says Vayhi Vayisai, at that time, Vayered Yehuda me'esechad. Yehuda came down. Why did he go down? Because despite being a Melech Israel on Israel, Yosef was taken down. When Yosef is not there, nothing is there. In other words, Yosef is at a very critical place. I'm going to show you this inside so we don't have to go back on this again. Yosef is in the Yesod. All these heroes need the Yesod, because they cannot access the Malchus without the Yesod. And the Malchus cannot access all those guys without the Yesod. It's a very critical place. Take off the Yesod, there's no more connection between the spheres. So when Yosef was taken down, the Malchus decided, I'm going with him. I'm going with him. I'm not staying here, because here I'm going to dry like a potato in the sun. Here, at least I'm going to have something, even though he doesn't have much to give me because he doesn't have the other midas, but he is the sun. The Yesod is compared to the sun, the Malchus to the moon. The moon has no light without the sun shining on it. And I'm going to, even though I'm going to go a little bit ahead here, I'm going to find it. Look when it says here in the pasuk, the Yosef hurad Mitzrayim. It didn't say le Mitzrayim or le Mitzrayim hurad Yosef or whatever. I'm just going to take this word, okay? The Yosef hurad, and the Shechina went with him. Left the brothers, left everybody. That's why Yaakov couldn't figure out what happened to Yosef. Because the Shekhinah, the Ruach HaKodesh, was no longer there with the Bnei Israel. That's the reason. So we see the importance of Yosef because he has such a critical role. And it's like in a factory where you have a chain and one who is at a very critical role is moving out. You're not going to get it. It's not going to happen. So that's the reason that Yehuda had to go down. Now let's go one level lower. Let's not take things as granted, just, explanations like this. We understand better than that. We know that Yehuda is Malchus Israel, Malchus. The midah of Yehuda is the Malchus. And the Malchus is gone. So where Yehuda is? Drying up like a pancake. By punishing Yosef, they punished themselves. Something is not thinking here that the shift take out. They didn't see that. They didn't see that you don't touch Yosef. Because touching the Yesod, no matter who it is, the uppers or the lowers, you're basically punishing yourself. Oh yeah, he's gonna get some bad feelings, but you're gonna get even worse. Now you have no more Malchus here. So the Malchus disappears. By Yered Yehuda. Automatically, Yehuda was Yered. He came down. So Rashi, why did you have to say Hariduhu mi Malchus? So when they saw the tsar of that Yaakov could not be consoled, and he was in such a pain and such an anguish that they decided it's because of you. What do we have to point fingers? It's very simple. The Malchus is gone. The Malchus is gone with Yosef. Yehuda has no more Shefa of Malchus, and therefore he's not a Melech. You know who says that? The Targum Yonason, I found it afterward. That's the way he touches it. Yehuda was not pushed off, the stage by anyone. No, he went down. By himself, pop, he went down. What's the reason? Now we understand with the Zohar HaKodesh. But we don't understand Rashi. Why do you have to kind of bashmutz one side or the other? I just want to give you a point of where I'm trying to reach here. Like this, you're always going to come back. Even if you miss something, you're always going to come back in line. Any action we do, when we're upset, when we're angry, we think it only has one direction. But it's not true. It's bi-direction. So when a person is angry, it's almost he's blind from one eye. He doesn't see the other side. He doesn't see the backlash that's going to create. And here, the brothers, we're going to see that they've been blindsided, and they didn't see what's coming to them. And all along, we're going to see this. We're going to see how low Yehuda is going to go, and all this, because of what they've done to Yosef. However, I tell you, the Zohar kept on going. Now he gives a second pirush. Exactly like Rashi. On one hand, we have the first pirush of the Zohar, Lav Targum Yonasan. The second pirush of the Zohar, like Rashi. The first pirush of the Zohar is because the Malchus gone with Yosef, so Yehuda has nothing. Targum Yonasan. Second pirush, Rashi, is because the brothers saw the anguish of the father. You can't hold the string on both sides. You either hold one side or the other. But you can't be on both sides of Zohar. This is a steer. This is a contradiction. Because I understand Targum Yonasan. He focused on the first two words, Vayered Yehuda. I understand Rashi because he focused on the second two words, Me'es Echav. And he asked Targum Yonasan, what do you do with these words? According to you, if Yehuda went down all alone and he was a consequence, he should have said Vayered Yehuda. No need to add Me'es Echav. So I understand the machlokes, but I don't understand the Zohar, which comes and add a level of difficulty here because he gives both sides himself. So we know there is a huge soil under all this. I'm taking back again the beginning of the stories. I'm just going to go back and forth, one layer under, one layer under, one layer under, until we're going to reach clarity, the sun, and it's going to be, oh, why do you have questions in this puzzle? It's so simple to touch, because we're going to go and dig it out. Parshas Vayeshev at the beginning, the Yosef, the Yaakov ohav es Yosef mikol banav. The Torah testifies that Yaakov loved Yosef more than all his sons, and that's part of the kina they had. So they knew Yaakov loved Yosef. I'm scratching my head. You are there in Shechem. Yeah, you're sitting in Sanhedrin. You have the Shekhinah, whatever. Doesn't bother me. We're talking about Shiftei Kol, right? We're not talking about humans. We're talking about Malachim. We're scared of them. They had a surhuman power. If you read the 6 days war that the Yalkut Shimoni brings after they killed Shechem, and how they used to leap over walls around cities. Nothing. Oh, I hear the scream over there. Boop, on top of the world, on top of the wall. What is that? A wall around the city is what, 50 feet? And they had ravines between beforehand, which were like 100 feet, and Yehuda and Shimon, boop, they leap right over. And the guys looking from on top, they've never seen a human flying. That's the word of Midrash. They were flabbergasted because they seemed like they were flying over the hole. They had never experienced it. So we see they had, now, you want to kill him. Don't you have a moment of clarity here? What this can do to your father? You come after fact, and you grumble to Yehuda, say you're responsible. But you do not have any feeling or any doubt when during the fact that you're ready to kill him. You would have devastated Yaakov Avinu. You would have devastated the future of the Bnei Israel. There is no Mashiach ben David unless there's a Mashiach ben Yosef beforehand. What were you trying to do? We would have had no Geula. The only one who can take down Esav, Edom, the last Golus, is Yosef. You want to kill him? You have no consideration for your father. You have no consideration for your children. Only what? To let out your hatred. You're the Shiftei Kol. I can't even say those words, even to try to explain. It's not possible. So why don't you have a time on yourself? Say Chatanu Avinu. You see, we carried away. No, my problem is you come and blame Yehuda. It makes no sense. Actually, the Rabbanel takes it one notch higher. He learns like the Targum Yonasan, not like Rashi. Yehuda left them voluntarily. When he saw that brothers don't mind killing one of them, he says, I have nothing to do with them. I'm not staying with them. I'm leaving. That's Vayered Yehuda. It doesn't mean he quitted from his job as a Melech Israel. That's what he means, Vayered Yehuda, according to the Rabbanel. When he saw such a level of achzarius, but you, Rashi, that he takes it from the Midrash and not from the Zohar, no, there's no problem with the brothers. They validate their complaint as if it was totally normal. What do you mean? They're talking from both sides of their mouth. On one side, they want to kill him. On the other side, they say, oh, my father today. What are we talking here? Either there's a din, and you sat down with the Shekhinah and you knew what the din is, and en merachamim badin, or there's no din. And then you like a bamboo in the wind. You go just every side. It makes no sense, this whole thing. Why it's so important to determine exactly the types here? Because this kind of reveal the way of the Geula will happen to us today. In here, we're going to see, all we're going to talk about is us. The Torah just gives us the almost like a story type of excuse, to bring us the side of the Geula. And it happens when these two, Yehuda and Yosef, they're going to fight first, and they're going to learn. They're going to fight. They're going to confront each other almost to death twice. Once here, once in Vayigash. At that point, one of them was almost going to go. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this is how he created, and the fact that they went so strong at each other, they bonded in a way that they cannot no longer be separated. Yehuda and Yosef. The only reason, if you want to know why we are in Galus Edom, what is Edom, what is Esau can take advantage of us, the Jews, the Yehuda and Binyamin, is because Yosef is not here. It's because Yosef never came back from Galus. They went somewhere. Nobody knows where they're at. Remember, we spoke about this. Rachel mevaka al banea ki eneinu. Rachel is crying on her children going, Yosef and Binyamin going in Galus, but ki eneinu. Then we're going to change from plural, her children, to singular. He is not here. Who's not here? Yosef is not coming. Since Galus Bais Rishon, of first destruction of the temple, he went, never came back. Had he been here today, would have been a different ballgame. But that's the plan of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's not this year. So let's I don't want to leave hanging the Bnei Yisrael just like this, because that's what I answer to the Rabbanel. In truth, nothing seems to be what it is. We hear a story, don't judge by the words, because these are words of Chachma, and they need to be crushed in order to be able to give you the true meaning. So when the brothers told Yehuda You told us to sell him, and we listened to you. Indeed, we were wrong. We wanted to kill him. They had meeting, so I'm just taking a different touch. They had meeting. But you so clear. That's why you matter. If you so clear and you knew it was not possible to kill him, not only for the generations to come, but for Yaakov Avinu, you should have known better and make a better judgment and say, we can't even harm him. The Torah was given for Vachai Bahem, live with the mitzvahs. On Shabbos, if someone is sick, and there's even a doubt if his life could be endangered, it's a mitzvah to be Mechal Shabbos. The person who go ask his rabbi, he wants to be a Yeshivish, and he wants to go ask his rabbi, in a case like this, can I do it? Chazal call him a roitzeach. He's a murderer. You see the boundaries of the mitzvah stop where life starts. In other words, if a Jew's life, so the Bnei Israel tell Yehuda, you should have told us we were not allowed to bring Yosef to the din. Because we cannot come to a psak din that we cannot accomplish. Because of Yaakov Avinu and because of the next generation. So we would have left him alone. The Zohar goes 10 floors down. He says, do you know why the brothers had to sell Yosef? There was no other way around. They had to sell him. Because had he been stolen or sold by the Goyim, by the Mitzrim, the Jews would have never been able to free themselves from the Mitzrim because they overpowered the first time the Yesod, Yosef, and that's a simon for the future that you cannot remove them from there. We would have never been able to be freed from Mitzrayim. Well, what does he do if it takes me first? The Zohar says the influence, and every time it's a simon that when a Jew does something, he does it through Kedusha. Automatically, Yosef became much stronger, being sold by the brothers to the point that the Mitzrim could not overpower him ever. And this enabled the Malchus of Yosef. And this enabled the Mashiach ben Yosef to come before Mashiach ben David. Huge. This is what he says here. I don't know if you remember in Parshas Kisavoy, or at the end of the Parasha of Eglah Arufa, Kiseitze. No, it's not Kiseitze. Kisavoy. I think it's there. I don't remember. We bring part of the Sanhedrin to come by the body. And they say a vidui. They lament. Why? Because he was killed by someone bad. And since he was killed by someone bad, his neshama was taken on the way out, was taken, grabbed by the other side. When someone leaves this world, it has to be through a Jew. It has to be through a tzaddik. So his neshama, the other side, has no power. Why? Because we all one huge neshama, and the Satan can only attack so much. But when we gangbang together, there's nothing you can do. And that's why it had to be HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it that the brothers sold Yosef. So he came from the side of the Kedusha, so they cannot overpower the Bnei Israel. And the proof he brings when it says in the beginning of Parsha Shmois, Vayakam melech chadash al Mitzrayim, a new king, a new pharaoh came up in Mitzrayim. So there was a new king. Asher lo yoda es Yosef. What does Yosef has to do here? He says, the Zohar shows us here, when the Yesod is not here, everything is possible for the God. The Yesod is the critical part in the whole binyan that makes it stand, that attaches it. Therefore, the binyan of Kedusha cannot be attacked by the other side. But whenever it's removed, it's mayhem. The brothers, when they lost Yosef, they used to be unified with the king. All they got is they lost this unity. Because Yosef left, the Malchus left. They had no more access with the upper worlds because the Malchus was not here, and it's Shara Shamayim. The Galia Raza says exactly as we touched it up the Zohar. It seems like he's talking, he doesn't bring the Zohar, but from his words, and but he added one more point, which is very important. We always mention it. We are the engines of all the worlds. All the worlds are static. We are the engines. And when the brothers basically showed ownership on Yosef, even though he's going to be sold, it's only for a time. It's like they sold him for a time, but not forever. And therefore, you always have to go back to them, to the side of the Kedusha. The same thing happened in the spheroids on top, that they took the Yesod and they made sure they're holding on to him. So now it's becoming an integral part of the binyan of Kedusha. And even though when Yosef is going to go to Mitzrayim and the Yesod is going to take the Malchus with him and going down together, they will come back there. That's the Geula. In other words, when we have the Keser, every sphere in its place, the one that's moving through the Galuyas is the Vav and the Hey, the Yesod and the Malchus, Yosef and Yehuda. Yehuda has to follow Yosef, because Yehuda's lifeline is Yosef. And now he found out that he harmed himself, something beyond repair. As I said, they went looking for Yosef. The brothers felt very bad. They wanted to give their own life just to bring back Yosef because it's so critical, but they couldn't find him. I'm going to go even deeper now. We're going to see now a whole entire picture. When did Yaakov send Yosef? We spoke last week, the distance between Hebron and Shechem is about 100 kilometers, 60 miles. Why do the brothers we asked last week are taking for pasturing the flock 60 miles away from Hebron? Who went 60 miles in these times? Yaakov. You're not afraid anything happening to Yosef, you send him 60 miles, which were a few days of traveling in those times. You're not worried? Since Chazal say, he shouldn't be alone. Now he's going to be in fields and everything. And we know from the Zohar who are in the field. It's all these spirits. How come Yaakov Avinu, you're sending the son you love the most, and you're endangering him. So in the whole Maaseh from the beginning, there's no logic. The pasuk says, I don't know if I brought it. I'm going to show you this. Hopefully I did. Oh, I brought it. Vaishlachehu, he sent him, Yaakov sent Yosef, me'emek, from the valley of Hebron. Everybody is asking. Hebron is on a mount. It's a mount. It's mountainous, the terrain there. So what it means from the valley? It's not a valley. So touch the Midrash, touch the Zohar, me'emek, it's from the deep Eitzah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu when he spoke to Avram in Bris Beis HaBesarim. Yaakov is the Galus of Mitzrayim supposed to start with Yaakov. Yaakov is supposed to be there attached to go down in chains, the Gemara says, down to Mitzrayim. But his chus made it that he's not going to go. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew that. And he told Avram, we're going to come with a second plan. And the second plan is, we're going to take Yosef. So Yosef now I'm just going to have a quick review of the story here, but a different way with what we have learned. So Yosef, who is a huge tzaddik, has dreams of being a melech. They don't understand, the brothers, but this is HaKadosh Baruch Hu triggered this limitation of understanding that the first king of Israel is going to be who? Yerovam. Yerovam ben Nebat, the Merusha, that's going to put golden calves on the way to Yerushalayim, because he was worried that Bnei Israel, if they go to the Beis HaMikdash, they will do tshuva. So he made them Ovdei Avodah Zarah. So they thought that he was priding himself about Yerovam. And they said, where did the Malchus Beis David and Malchus Israel split it? When did the Malchus Beis David split it to become two Malchus? What place? Where was Yerovam at that time? In Shechem. It happened in Shechem. So now the brothers are seeing this. They're seeing this guy, because of him, our children are going to be punished very seriously by HaKadosh Baruch Hu because of that King Yerovam, and this guy is proud of him. They never thought that he's going to be king himself. Because if he would be pretending to be king, then he's Moired b'Malchus. Yehuda is the king. It's rebelling against a king. Chayav Misa. So they misread the messengers, but it was all that because of the machshava amuka me'emek Chevron, the depth of the machshava of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to start. So Yosef should take the pain that was supposed to be to Yaakov and prevent Yaakov from having that pain and going down in contrary with happiness. I'm going to go a little bit into the pasuk now and try to put this, crystallize this. Okay, Al Pipshat, we explain Vayhi ba'esai, now it's the same time as Yosef was taken down to Mitzrayim. Yeah, it's true. On that part, this pshat is true. But that's why he comes to tell me. Every time it says ba'es, it means like this. 2 times ace. Something is cooking. You have to know something is cooking here. We know that ace equals 470. Whenever this ace comes, you have these 470s come out, which is 10 times Yud K Vav K with 10 times K. Chochmah and Bina are complete and they join. Ace is a tremendous moment. Chochmah is full height. Bina is full height. Yud K in Shamayim starts shining down. So that's why it's an ace Rotzain, because now we're starting having the light from up there. But 2 times 470 equals 940. So why do we have to have why do we have to have 2 times? Because when the Chochmah and the Bina get together, remember they're very high, so they shine in the send oil to the upper worlds, but to the lower worlds because they are in full height. And now it's called Yehi Oyer, Vayhi Oyer. The 2 oiros that are descending on top and down. And that's what is the word ace. So in here, there is a tremendous light. And despite the fact that this episode is very sad, there is a light, but a huge light. Which light? We're going to go down to. Obviously, we have the oil of the Mashiach ben Yosef, the oil of the Mashiach ben David, obviously, which is the oil of the Geula, because at that time it's going to be the oil Aganus, is going to reveal itself, it's going to be a he oil by he oil, that's why that day is not going to end, and so forth. Yes, it's true. But why here? Ba'es hahi. Now, if I take the Vahi Ba'esai in full, equals 520. Yeah, 520 equals 20 times Yud K Vav K. You could play games, say 10 up there, 10 up. No. We know the name in the Malchus is Yud Hey Vav Hey Shamben 52 times 10. When the Chochmah, the Bina, the father, the mother, Abba and Ima, and the daughter, the Malchus, are going to be full height, that's the Geula. Now all of a sudden, I'm starting to see why all the mitzvahs, Chaz v'shalom, someone does Aveira, is poigem in the Malchus. The mitzvah is bringing the Malchus up, because we're trying to reach this in order to make it Ace Rotzain, and it's going to be Oyer and Oyer. So Yehuda is going to do something. Now that we're going down that path, we're going to see what Yehuda is going to do. We said Vayered Yehuda. Okay, he went down. Now that I know there's intentions involved, I'm not looking at the title of the word. I'm looking at what's the intentions. This equals 250. It's a huge kavana. I don't want to bring the kavanas of Hanukkah. It's three Shem Elohim with Shem Yud Kevav Ke Keye Yud Kevav Ke Adnus Yud Kevav Ke Elohim. That's an air. In other words, but it's nefesh and ruach. Kiner mitzvah. A mitzvah affects the nefesh and the ruach of the malchus. The Torah, learning Torah, is the neshama of the malchus. Kiner mitzvah v'Torah oir. Just for the sake of it. But here, Yehuda said, I turned off the light of the world, this oir. My job now is to bring back the light in the world. Yehuda didn't break down. He took responsibility for his act. And instead of going like a mushy guy and giving up and start crying, he said, okay, let's assess the situation. I created a blemish here into the world. I brought darkness to the world. The Yesod, which is the Shemesh, is not shining any longer. I have to find a different source of light. I have, in the meantime that Yosef is not here, I have to be able, even though it's not an oil, it's an air, it's a little bit of light, but we need it. Because when the Bnei Israel during the Galus are not going to be shomer on Yosef, they're going to be poigem on the bris, and Yosef is going to go. That's why Yosef is not here in this Galus. Because people, like the first son of Yehuda, exactly, that's the story here, is basically painting the picture we're going to have in the last Galus. So Yehuda wanted to bring light. And the pasuk says, okay, Vayered Yehuda, me'es echav. So we had Rashi, we played, we kvetched a little bit. Now we're in Kavanas here. So we're no longer into the world of kvetching. Me'es echav equal 466. Kodesh, Kodesh is 410 Lashon. Hichilel Yehuda Kodesh Hashem. How do we call the brace in the pasuk? Kodesh Hashem. Yehuda fully understands here where his head. We're not talking about the brothers. Yes, on the outside, the brothers and the intentions, yes. No, we have an introversion. We have a line of conduct. When someone has not been as Hashem expects him to be, what should his reaction be? Breakdown? Oh, I feel bad, Hashem. No. Assess the situation. What have you done? Be honest. Admit it. Because if you don't admit it, there's no vidui. Admit it to Hashem. And then you know what you have to do. And I'm going to tell you something. This is an atomic bomb, I'm going to say. But beforehand, I would like to show how connected this whole thing is and how true is what we have explained. Yosef is going to be Melech Mitzrayim, and he's called Hu HaMashbir. Hu HaMashbir. for you guys. Who Hamash is the one who feeds, the one that provides, because the Yesod always provides to the others. Who Hamash beer? The truth is, what did we care in the Torah? We call, okay, he went to Gdula and he was the one providing. No. The Torah never tells us stories that, okay, finally he revenged and he had everything. Equals 569. Equals Mashiach ben Yosef with the 3 words. Finally, after this whole story, they had guaranteed Yehuda on his side and Yosef on his side. They had guaranteed the 2 Mashiach. Am Israel at the end of time now, no one can take them off. No one can cancel that. They took it upon themselves. So we understand what Yosef did and what hardship he went through. But what hardship Yehuda went through. What do you think? Yehuda is, okay, he lost the Melucha. And according to the Targum Yonasan and according to what we understand right now, and we're going to see there's no machlokes between Rashi and Targum Yonasan. I'm going to answer that. You're going to see that they both say the same thing. Depends which side you're looking at. Okay, he's no longer a melech. If you're no longer a melech, I'm sure you lost some benefits. You lost a little bit of covet, but doesn't compare with Yosef. You know, it doesn't compare with the brutality that he experienced from his own brothers. We said from the Rabbanah before that Yehuda left them because they were cruel. Sorry. Read the Midrash. How many hours Yosef was crying from the pit? And what did they do, all the brothers? They moved the way they couldn't eat. It bothered them to hear their brother crying, so they moved far away so they couldn't hear his cries. It was so hot that day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought birds to fly and make shade for Yosef the Tzaddik. Sorry, brothers. You see this. You're not scratching your head. And Yehuda, you see this. You're not scratching your head. HaKadosh Baruch Hu keeps him alive. He is in a pit of snakes and scorpions. And no one seems to harm him. For hours he's crying. What don't you understand here? It's so hot. It's dangerous, that heat. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings birth, just to show you the superhuman power of the Bnei Yaakov that even doubt. When Reuven came back at night, he went into the pit also. And he was looking all around the pit, touching, because he couldn't see. So he was touching everywhere. No one beat it. Not a snake, not a scorpion, nothing. That's the koyach of Kedusha. Cannot be touched. The more a person raises himself, the less is becoming affected and touched by the others. This is the response to hatred. This is the best response to any adversity that you have in life. Look at so Yehuda had to do something dramatic, because now he understands all the sign that he hasn't seen. You ready for it? At least I find it huge, this Chiddush. The Shach, the Talmud of the Ari HaKodesh, says he learned from Cain. When Cain killed his brother, selling his brother is in part a death, and worse, Because when Cain killed Havel, okay, he's dead, finished. But here they sold him to Mitzrayim, and now Yosef may change his ways and become bad. So it's not just a death, it's a death in both worlds. Yehuda decided to take upon himself the judgment of Cain. When Cain was punished, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, these are the 7 earth that there is. We live in Tevel, on top. Gehinam is all the way down there. There's no creature living there, only spirits. Then you have Neshia also. There's no. But in Arka, there are humans. 3rd level, there are humans. And this is where Cain went as the Oynesh of Galus. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent him there. Yehuda went down by himself over there, and he decided that should be his punishment. And with that, expiate his punishment. And so HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him an opportunity to correct what he did. That's Vayered. He went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 level of earth. Now you understand the Yerida? We're not talking literally, subjectively Vayered. He's a melech, he's not a melech. He's not even a human no more. He went down. These are the Bnei Cain that have 2 heads. Here, this level is inhabited, and this level, so you have 3, 5, 7. Which you have creatures. 3, 5, 7. And because the Shechina is here, the common denominator on this earth there, they don't have, since the 7 fruits with which the land of Israel was blessed, Eretz Kitos, Gefen, and every man, they only exist in Tevel, but not in the inner lands. They don't have them. So Yehuda went there. Now we're starting a brand new discussion. So Vayhi Ba'isai, at that time when Yehuda realized, and he touched the light of the Mashiach, Vayered Yehuda went down, to teach us that he went inside earth to Arka. He didn't remain on Tevel, he disappeared. Then, I don't understand. He saw someone there. Vayet ad ish adulami. Says the Shach. He was in Pashas Vayetze, I know I didn't give the share on the 7 earth. I wrote it. I don't know if I shared it. I think I shared it with some with your guys, but I didn't want to give a share on this because it's so deep and so many details that it's a share that requires about 12 hours in order to explain. As I brought the Zohar there and our P Kabbalah, what I brought in that share, it would take to understand and because. Listen, every day we make holes in earth. Where are the other earth? Where are the other humanoids? Now you look in Ruzi al Malach, he even draws you, in the Sefer Ruzi al Malach, he draws you the shape of the humans that live there. The one that live on number 5, that look like E.T. That oblong thing that they say it's from space, it's not from space, it's from Adama. Looks, Ruziel Amalach draws it. You have the drawing, mamish like a picture, very well drawn, and he draws everything you see on the 7 levels, and in the one down there by Cain, they're small, they're not as tall as us, they're like 3 feet tall, 4 feet tall, I don't know, yeah, but they're small, very small, and some of them has 2 heads. Good people. Daven to Hashem all the time, but they have no memory. You see, you're gonna ask me what? I'm not going to that share. I just want to give you a little bit of chachma and wake up your hearts every time to seek more chachma, because there's so much chachma in Torah that we can't even, whatever we learn, whatever we say, there's so much more in that ocean. And it's kedai to, why do they reveal us that they daven? Why do they reveal us they have no memory, that they can remember one day to the other? Nothing they remember from one day to the other. Why is that? Why is connected to Cain? One thing we see, that Cain left. Since he was the first murderer, the tumor that came with the chet was left down there. Now Yehuda is going to a place till Adulam. Adulami, a person from Adulam. I don't want to waste time because the time is flying again. And Adulam, there will be a city that will become Adulam on top, but there's no Adulam on top until Rehoboam builds it. So where is this tzaddik? So the Shach says he used to be able to go up and down only. So I was saying the Zohar says in Parshas Vayetze that one time Rabbi Yosef and Rabbi Chia were walking and something happened, and they said, obviously HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to show us a miracle. They were hiding in the rock on something, and all of a sudden a small man came out with two, and they told him, are you a human or are you a spirit? He says, no, I'm a human. And I said, I just came up to ask what it's called, the land you live on. So they told him it's called Tevel. They say, where are you coming from? He says, I'm coming from Arka with the descendant of Cain. Oh, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to show that to the Tanaim that there were other creatures in this world. So we can't say that Adulam was a city Adulami from Adulam. No. So it comes here to teach us some kind of chachma. I'm finishing on this. Just going to go a little bit backward to give an introduction to this. So we had Nesher, going backward, Aryeh, Shoyer. Together, and we're missing the Shoyer, right? And also we're missing Adam. The danger to the Klippa is Shoyer, because the biggest son of the Klippa is Esav, and the Satan of Esav is Yosef. So when Yaakov was fighting the Malach of Esav, he hit him on the left hip. When we look in the spheroids, the left hip is here. Mashiach ben Yosef, but ben David is here. The two Mashiachim. They had to create these two to stand to hold the binyan, and they're both connected to the Yesod. Nothing can happen without him. So knowing Vayiga bekaf Yerech Yaakov here in the Shoyer, in Yosef. Yosef had to leave. So now we see from a different angle, also the other side was fighting the possibility of Yosef taking down Esau. Why I bring this? Because Yaakov, I'm going to explain why Yaakov was crying so much and didn't have a little bit of, maybe I want to say, emunah, or rely on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that something is being done. They all hold in a box. In a teva, you have 12 arrows. So the one who make the walls in which the teva, the malchus is the shvatim. So since it's Adnus, the name of Adnus in the teva, in the malchus, Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, this equals to 780. This equals to Tisha B'Av. We've seen it many times. But today you're going to have a different answer. In other words, Yaakov need 12 Shvatim. His whole purpose is to complete the mission the Abba sent him for, to complete the Geula, assure the Geula for the Bnei Israel. And he had to be there. The same way Yaakov Avinu, Vayar Yisrael es hayada gedola, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu split the sea, it says Vayar Yisrael in singular, not in plural. Says the Zohar, Israel Mamash. Zohar Parashat Beshalach says, we're talking about HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Yaakov Avinu, says, look, what I promised you, I'm doing to your children. In the Geula Shleima, also Yaakov will come out. And he will see Moshe Rabbeinu in the middle, Mashiach ben David to his right, Mashiach ben Yosef to his left. Can you believe it? Those are going to be zeiche to see that. Unimaginable. Moshe Rabbeinu is surrounded by the Mashiachim. Everything we endure, everything we're going through, sometimes we have to keep in mind, what do we have at the end? We have this vision of Moshe Rabbeinu coming to us and taking us out of the lands we live in, bring us to the desert and cross the Jordan with us this time. Ashrei the world be zoche to this. Moshe Rabbeinu split the ocean with this name, Satan, which equals 729. When comes the Geula, because we have the Adam, is a Shema here, so he's going to add Yud Ke Vav Ke Kra. That's the shame of the Geula. Even though the Keye, but there is a level, the Geula has to transcend so much height that, and Satan, and Yud Ke Vav Ke is going to attach it also to Satan. This equals 781, one more than that. This is how, but in order to turn this as the Satan of Esau, this is Yosef. This is Yosef. And that's how we're going to be freed. Yaakov's mission after everything, it says in the pasuk, Vayizrach Loi, when he was touched on the left by Yosef, Hashemesh. Then he was healed. Right? He knew. Ele told us Yaakov, Yosef. Who's the tallest of Yaakov? Is only Yosef. Why? His whole entire mission being of Yaakov Avinu is to watch over Yosef. Who did he lose? Yosef. Now, since the Shemesh is Yosef also, what did he call this? 912. He was conferred that mission. Avraham, Yitzchak, himself, Yaakov, he accepted. Leah, Rachel, the two mothers of Yosef. He is the one you have to watch, but this is the one where the Geula depends. We see from here one tremendous lesson. A whole nation was almost lost because of hatred, because of anger, because when we are inhabited by feelings, emotions, we lose the power to be able to judge, to see. We only see because we only want a revenge. So we see what the other guy is going to, the blast is going to take. But you don't see that you're going to take. Not only you, your family, your descendants are going to take a much bigger blast. By punishing the other, you're punishing you in bigger. Why would you do that? He already hurt you. You want to hurt yourself even more. Makes no sense. Then Vayered Yehuda. Yehuda went in Galus. Because Galus is mechaper more than Malchus. Because Hashem on Shabbos, we're going to go a little bit more in depth, keeps on with the different, the other psukim. But here, there's a few more layers. But Bez Hashem, I think for this year, we give enough for today. Baruch Adonai, le'olam, amen ve'amen.